Hey, my name's James Nicholson. In this video, I want to talk about a shocking number of councils that have been told by the regulator of social housing that their properties are not fit for people to live in, that they don't pass the decent home standards which is going through the Renters' Rights Bill at the moment. Really interesting stuff here because they're putting so much pressure at the moment on landlords. They're putting so much pressure on people to make sure their properties are of a high standard, which I totally agree with. I don't think we should have rogue landlords. I think we should have good, fit, decent homes for people to live in. But when the councils and government are actually the worst landlords in the market, I find it really frustrating. And if I was a tenant in one of those properties, I would be furious that they're not doing enough to give good quality homes to those people. And it shows, in my opinion, that maybe rather than bashing landlords, where there are bad landlords, there are rogue landlords, but there's a few of those in the market. If you can see from this data that landlords provide a better quality service than the local authorities do, why are we not supporting landlords more? So in this video, I'm going to expose exactly who these councils are, tell you how bad it is. I think you'll be shocked at the percentage of properties that are not in a good condition. And we'll talk about all of that and much, much more. Now, if you're new around here and you haven't done already, do make sure you subscribe to the channel over there and hit that bell notification. By subscribing, you'll get all the latest house price news, interest rate news, property news, and much, much more. And let's get some views on this video. How do we do that? Simple. Smash like, tickle like, do something to that like button. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm and massively helps the channel grow. So if you're thinking, where is he? Why is he standing in a field? Maybe you're new around here. Well, we're in Carcassonne in France at the moment with a family. I'm just having a quick walk to walk off some of that French bread, ham and cheese that we've had for lunch today. While the kids are in the pool, we're going to go and jump in there in a minute. So yeah, this is some of the land that we've got at the moment. I think that, hard to see, that's the house that we've got over there, which is really nice. We've got 50 acres to explore while we're here. So keep watching if you're interested in French stuff or just a bit of a different scenery rather than a whiteboard that we normally have. So who's talking badly about these councils? Well, it's the regulator of social housing. It's a government agency that their job is to check that social housing providers, including councils, are giving a good quality, safe, decent home to their tenants. Now, as I said, landlords, if we don't do that, we get fined very quickly, we get mocked in the press, we get exposed in the press, and most landlords don't have problems with their tenants, but a few do, and a few don't get that resolved. Well, these councils seem like they're worse than any landlord that I've ever heard of. And the ones that have been talked about here are East Suffolk, Ipswich, Leicester, and North Kesteven. I think it's Kesteven. Whereas the North Kesteven has got 3,000 properties that are not fit for people to live in at the moment. Also, Redditch is also on this list as well. So there's a ton of people. Now, the government created something called the 2024 standards. And so this is what they're basing it off. It's similar to the Renters' Rights Bill, but for social housing providers. So they do get inspections. They do get checks from time to time, but they don't seem to be really doing much to resolve it. So in one of these councils, Redditch, 50% of their properties, 50% would not comply with the decent home standards that is going through the Renters' Rights Bill at the moment. 50%. That's crazy. That means that these properties are potentially dangerous. They have mold issues. There's various problems with these properties that a normal landlord like you or I wouldn't get away with. But because they're massive councils, they get away with this stuff, which is crazy. Leicester, here's a crazy stat. In Leicester, 71% of their properties do not have an EICR, which is the electrical certification that I, as a landlord, have to get every 5 years. So I get the report done, it lasts for 5 years, and then I have to get it done again. I've got one going through actually at the moment while I'm in France. But that's crazy that if I don't have that done, I get fined thousands of pounds. Potentially could be very difficult for me to even be a landlord going forward. But these guys aren't just not doing it in 1 or 2 of their properties. The fact that it's even above 5% is absolutely crazy. It's rules for thee, but not for me, what comes to mind here. And that is really unfair. You see, all the landlord bashing that you see is constant in the media. They talk about landlords being rogue landlords because it gets clicks, it gets attention, it gets people in there. But you've got a lot of stuff that's pushing good landlords out the market. Now, you might be watching this video, maybe you're a tenant, maybe you're considering being a landlord, maybe you are a landlord, and maybe you think that, I think landlords should be pushed to improve their properties, and I don't disagree with that. Absolutely not. I think it's totally fine that landlords should have high quality properties, and everyone should agree on that. But what I do think is crazy, that is this over-regulation that we're doing at the moment. You've got the Renters' Rights Bill. You've already had high taxation put on landlords. You've got potentially more taxes being put on landlords in this budget. You've got the EPC stuff that we've got to do. You've got all of these things pushing landlords out the market, whereas actually it looks like if we supported the good landlords, help them improve their properties, help them in fact even renovate some empty properties in local areas, you'd be much more progressive and fixing the housing crisis, in my opinion. I just think that the government is really short-sighted here. It's such an easy one to bash landlords. It just gets votes, it gets attention, but I don't think it's the right thing to do for the tenants. The tenants feel it's the right thing to do, but I just think that by doing that, you're making the private rental sector even smaller. It's not grown since 2016. The private rental sector should be bigger than it was in 2016. Everyone has the perception that landlords are buying up all the properties and this is what's happening. But what's actually happening is more landlords are quitting. The shrinkage in the rental stock means that rents are going up. And one person commented the other day that in London, they put their property up to rent and got 71 inquiries, 71 in a week. We've had people previously commented on the channel that are estate agents in Scotland that say in their area they get 200 applications per property, which is absolutely bonkers. So look, councils, if you want the official data, at least these councils are worse than the majority of landlords, yet not much will be done to really fix that. And the tenants ultimately are the ones that suffer, and that's who I thought we were trying to protect. Let me know what you think about the councils getting away with this stuff, as always, in the comments below. And do make sure that you grab our new ebook, How to Find the Best Mortgage in 2025. More than 1,200 people have already grabbed a copy. I'm going to put it in the description of this video and in the pinned comment as well. So do grab a copy of that while you're here. And also check out all the other content as well on the channel, including this video right here.